Well, hello everyone. How are you? I want to check and see how our sound is and give everybody a second. I'm sorry I'm late. I realize that I am a little late. Hey, Raji, what's up, buddy? Sounds good? Thank you. That's always helpful. You made it with 1 second to spare. I'm actually late, Blake. I'm you had more than enough time to spare because I was running late today. And I don't know if Nice is going to show up. I'm going to be honest. He said he was going to show up, but I was chatting with him for the first time in a week a couple hours ago. Oh, great. So we're all running late. We'll give it a second until we all show up. How is everyone? How's their week? How's their weather? Everybody doing okay? Yeah, I think Nice is burning the candle at both ends just a little bit too much. Like I actually got clear with him because I wasn't sure. He has officially he's working 2 jobs right now, and he has 4 side gigs. I think one of them is this astrology. If this astrology is not one of them, then he has 5 side gigs. Okay, so we we're like 2 ships passing in the night these days. We leave each other messages on the server, and we actually had a chance. I could tell he was in bed because he was chatting with me on his phone and he wasn't out. I knew he would it would be late and he would be laying down because it's a habit of his. So we were just kind of checking up on our lives and talking about that. So I hope he shows up, but if he doesn't show up, we're going to miss him, but you know, we have to watch out for him. Your internet is not okay. What's wrong with your internet? It's happened to the best of us. I have everything wired in my house, by the way. I don't use Wi-Fi for anything. I think well no, that's not true. I have a TV with hey Annie. I have a TV with what's it called? Roku. I think the Roku is using it uses Wi-Fi. But I never use the TV. Hi Tia. I'm using the TV now. I use the TV now during the show so I can see that's how I'm able to see the chat, by the way. I put the TV on. So I have like my screens, all these screens for OBS and all the crap that I need, which reminds me there was something I did not open up, which I'm probably going to need. I forgot about Epic Pen. Okay. So, how about this? How about if we get the show started and we get right to our prayers here? Hey Annie, I got your sister's chart up. We're going to be dealing with that in a little bit too. All right, it seems the gang's all here, or at least our gang. Okay, so we're going to get started, and I like to begin with a prayer. So if we can all sort of take a nice deep cleansing breath, and a nice deep breath of unification with each other. And a nice deep breath of unification with God. Dear God, we ask that you guide each of us in our path, that we would find clarity in Uranian astrology. Remove the blocks of self proclaimed experts and expertise, and show us the truth in the stars. Inspire each of us to seek only divine proof in astrology. Please strip us of all false beliefs and reveal only profound truth. Allow divine knowledge to burst forth into our highest vibration and awareness, and may we feel our spiritual connection with the celestial DNA in all of us more deeply, powerfully, and substantially than ever before. Please open our minds, our hearts, and our souls that we would each find enlightenment. And so it is, and we thank you. Amen. So, we all know what this is. This is the My Astro World Uranian Astrology School, where we offer free Uranian astrology classes, and we give you a free Uranian Astrology app, and our brand is proof. So let me talk to you a little bit, and then we're going to get into doing some astrology here. You know, every week I'm challenged with what to do for all of you to bring you closer to understanding and using this work to your benefit as well as the benefit of others. And you can't just come out here and teach these quick classes. It's not a one-size-fits-all system. Whatever good astrology we're enjoying right now has arisen from error, not accuracy. Wisdom is always the result of mistakes. One of my young people asked me once, it's like, how did you get so smart while I was helping them solve a problem? You always know what to do. It's like, mistakes. How do you think that people learn? That's what makes people skilled at anything. A lot of practice and a lot of mistakes. Skill is the child of error. All of you need to learn that. Good, solid investigation, the in-depth examination of your own chart is the road to reading others. The amount of time it takes to unfold your own chart is easily at least a year or two, probably more. And that's operating under the assumption that this is the only chart you examine during this period. Your chart and how it relates to your immediate family and friends, and what you can absolutely confirm. Uranian astrology demonstrates the clear distinction of planets and points by way of their axis point analysis. We've discussed this before. Barring twins, no two charts play out the same. We go home to different parents, live in different homes, have different life experiences. Regardless of being born in the same time and same place, we know this. We've seen it prove out. The Uranian astrologer excels in astrology because our work addresses distinctions. We want you to stay clear in your chart so that you begin to understand nuance. Learning which way to read a particular half sum is a skill built on learning your own chart. Where did the pattern play out? How did it play out? Did it play out positively? Was it playing out negatively? What was going on inside of you at the time? Can you see that in the chart? Have you looked for that? The higher and the lower vibrational energy of any chart you read has many different parts to the same equation. What was this person exposed to? What is the difference between them and somebody else who was born in that time, in that place? It's like looking at these little pictures. What's the differences? You're always looking for what's the same and what's different. The road to learning this work is paved with potholes. At least it was with me. One of the many reasons I show up and I do this for all of you. It's important for us to help those students of this work to learn the system and method that can prove out their lives in the work. The road to knowledge and mastery of this work begins with being a skeptic. When I believed everything I was told and I just repeated it, I was the least skilled student in astrology. When I began to test out the many theories and watch them fail, that's when I began to grasp the reality that no one in the work had mastered it because Vit died before any of them would stop fighting with him long enough to learn what he was trying to explain to all of them and teach all of them. What are we exposing ourselves to in our daily lives? How are we feeding our minds, our bodies, our souls? What is shaping people? What is shaping us into who we are becoming? As children, we're fed by our parents. We're in their nest, in their world. We're being cared for by them. We eat what they eat. We do what they do. We're taught what they know. We read and watch what they read and what they watch. What happens after we leave the nest? What we consume becomes our choice. Whatever we choose, we become. We're always the product of our own consumption. And astrology isn't different. We're producing and reading and working based on what we consumed and believe. I've observed this phenomenon for years. In the world of astrology, the astrologer is really a matter of what they choose, not what they've proved. It's mind boggling to me, but that's pretty much what it is. They're operating based on choice, based on intuition, not based on provability. Astrologers, for me, from my point of view, they're like lemmings. They all follow whoever their leader du jour is right off a cliff without question. And the moment I realized that this work could do and what it would do, and as far as clarity, I changed my approach. I felt and I still feel obligated to serve the work by sharing what I can prove out rather than continue to serve false prophets and posers who run the ruling circles of astrology, not by clarity, but by the ongoing con of the day. I cannot and will not bow down to people who run the astrology schools and organizations. I've seen their work, and I'm sorry. I'm not impressed. I will serve the work by trial and error. I will do it by doing as many charts and getting students to do as many charts as possible, testing out every formula and theory, and then they can share what we can prove. It is our duty to prove rather than peddle the work. We need to remember that. Sir Isaac Newton attributed his incredible findings to the foundation that had been laid before him. He did not attribute his success to his colleagues or his friends, but to what had been firmly established before him and what he alone pursued and eventually developed. His papers lament his failures, but also demonstrate his determination to resolve his internal questions with tangible answers. I have a lot of people who are out here trying to challenge me as though this is their goal. Challenge your chart. Don't challenge me. Challenge every system of astrology by testing things out. The entire practice of astrology is saturated and overrun with amateurs who have never tested out their theories and control the conversations of astrology on many social media platforms. What I know of the work is based on the proven formulas and systems that I can prove out. What I know of the Western system of astrology is trying to take over the work. There's no Western astrology in Uranian astrology. Cut it out. The app, the classes, the beginner's manual, and the blogs are what we can prove. Every single chart is different. And the fastest way to learn how to read others is to master your own chart first. It was in mastering my own chart that I realized how badly Uranian astrology had been managed, taught, and used. We can prove our charts by failing in our own lives and in our own charts. That's how you're going to learn the astrology. We prove out our charts and our work, and we develop this app and invite others to do the same. That's what we're doing here, guys. If you have comments or questions, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Okay? And now we're going to get to the best part of what I think is our class and our show, which is to actually do the astrology, and we're going to prove it out. So last week we were tasked with a menacing personal problem and a struggle with one of our own, Ginger and her family, and this breach of affection that she has going on. So I posed the question inside the classroom on the server during the week, what can we do and how can we use astrology to help her find some sort of respite with the challenge she has? Like, why are we doing this if we can't use it to help? And the thing that we do with astrology is we go to the rule book. We go back to the date of the event, we go back to the players, and we analyze the charts. We don't try to predict the future. We go back to the dates that we do know. We go back to the dates of the problem in the past. And on that note, we're going to jump right into the app. Before we get into Ginger's chart, which Ginger I'm going to show you, and then Annie, we're going to do your sister's chart. But Ginger's is a real quick thing I wanted to point out to everyone. And I didn't see a single student or classmate point this out to her, by the way. And she posted the chart. Anyway, if you're new to us, the school, the class, this is the app. Avail yourself of the resources here. This will take you to the Uranian Astrology School. It'll take you to the Alfred Witte Library. Der Mensch, by the way, is on the school page. Der Mensch is a collection of all of his papers. The only book he ever wrote was the Rules for Planetary Pictures. Other than that, he had all of these astrology papers that were published by Ludwig and other publishers at the time. So you can find those on our school website. You can find the blogs. You can find the beginner's manual there. And of course, you register for the app. Don't forget to confirm your email. For Gmail people, you might have to go and check your spam or your promotions folder. Once you confirm your email, you'll be able to hop into the app and use the app. Okay? Until you confirm your email, you're not going to be able to get to this part of the app. All right. And on that note, I'm going to go back. I love the app, the way it looks, but I love this. I love the way the page looks. I'm really proud of the way our work looks these days. Sorry, just take a minute. Anyway, so I wanted to, Ginger, I know you're here, honey. I wanted to point something out to you. You said you noticed you found the synastry between you and your brother, which was the Mercury-Saturn, correct? Okay. So this is his, this is yours, and this is what you think is the thing? Or Mars-Saturn? So you have Mercury-Saturn, too. And you had Mars-Saturn? So Mars-Saturn would be to share a death, a loss of work. That's there. Did you notice that this is your brother's sun, Pluto? And you and your brother within a degree or two. Your sun, Pluto, is there. All of you missed that. Everybody in this school missed it. This is why you stay in your charts. Go back to the date that all of this happened. Line all of this up. Because the Sun Pluto would be a change in your particular case because of the meridian and a 3-degree orb. It would absolutely be a change for you. So this is the way we use astrology to help. We go back to the dates. We examine these charts. We stay in that information instead of trying to predict things because you're wasting your energy. If you cannot see what's already there in the present, how are you supposed to pick up the future? How are you supposed to be able to read it? You're not. I cannot say this enough. Apparently, I just don't say it enough. Stay in your charts. Stay in the present. Stop trying to predict things. The only reason we even gave you a basic little, in our 12-week class, how to do a prediction is with the triple pattern, is so that you know. So somebody else doesn't try to teach you that it's in some other way. We wanted you to understand the steps. And moving forward, by the way, starting next week, what we're going to be doing is every lecture is going to be, it's going to be like this is the solar arc. This is how to do a prediction. This is how to do synastry. We're gonna start doing that again, like you're taking the classes all over again, because I think a review is in order. But if you look here, this has you blocked in every possible way. If we get rid of this and we take a look, we understand that in your chart, partnership, family, this is everything to you. This right here. This tells us that the separation and the issues, you're concerned about their health, their illness, but your own health is always at risk. That this is an ongoing internal struggle that you battle with. So we're not going to go into too much here. We're really kind of done with what we can really say on YouTube. But moving forward this week, maybe we could all work on helping Ginger with her chart, and everybody could learn a little something on how to use the astrology to help others. Everyone should spend some time. Ginger, you need to post the date in the classroom questions. Just the date, please. No more chatting in the classroom questions, please. Okay, just the date exactly the way it would be with your brother's information and your information and the date of the event. Yeah, and the location, exactly. When you had this big blowout. All right? There, yes. We knew what you meant, honey. We all read Taiwanese. It's okay. All right. So, today seems to be Family Day and Sibling Day. Annie, do you have a headset on? You need to get your headset, Annie. We're going to have to talk to you. This is your sister's chart, by the way, and the date that she found out. Can you go somewhere where it's more quiet? How important is this to you? Because this would be probably a lot better if you and I could speak. You could ask them to be quiet. You're about to log into a class. You're taking another class somewhere? Is that what you're saying, or are you a teacher? Are you literally taking two classes at the same time, or you're taking a class and teaching a class at the same time? Oh, you're logging into the Discord. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, go to voice and video in the Discord classroom. And get your sister's chart up, by the way, for the date that you gave us. Okay. While you're doing that, You gave me exact times, like no minute. It was exactly on the dot times, and I'm always uh, hesitant to use those, and I always ask people because rarely is something exactly on the dot. So if this is her exact time of birth, this is if this is her exact time of birth, she is either profoundly spiritual or rejects every notion of spirituality. So you really want to begin there because we want to make sure this is her exact time. And this would be a very standout thing. Look who showed up. What'd you do? Hit that keyboard a little, lean on that keyboard a little too much? Yeah, see, the reason, and by the way, this is a very important lesson to learn about reading a chart. The first thing you need to do when you read a chart is hone in on something that's based on the meridian. Ask the client the question based on the meridian, what you see in the meridian. If it's a yes, you've got the right time or close to the right time. If it's a no, have them go look for the time. I didn't understand your answer, by the way, Annie J. This is another reason why we need to talk. She is very spiritual, but very much in the world, but yes. See, when usually buts means something different. Okay. All right. Did you, yes, try to get into Discord? I don't understand. That is the only time we have. See, this is why I need you to come talk because I have no idea what that means. That seems like this get. Oh, that's the birth time. Okay. I don't know how well they kept track of birth information in New Zealand. Great. Hop into the Uranian Astrology voice and video. Okay. Yeah, and let me just say this about birth certificates. And from what I know, one of my very dear, dear friends here is a neonatal nurse. So I gave her the third degree. And I have friends who are in medicine. She's not the only person I know, but she is definitely the only neonatal nurse I know now. I knew a NICU nurse that I asked down in Miami for her stuff, but it was a different deal. NICU nurses are it's a whole different story. Anyway, the way that they do birth certificates and the time, especially in the United States, they do have somebody monitoring the clock and they do register the time in the United States. Now, when the baby is born, once the head is out, they wait or the baby's out, they wait a minute to clamp the cord and then another minute to cut the cord. So it's 60 seconds and 60 seconds. And they're massaging the baby the whole time. From the time the baby comes out, they're massaging the baby's back, cleaning out the baby's mouth, suctioning, and they're trying to get the baby to breathe. If the baby's already coming out breathing, crying, they're still doing that anyway to clear out the baby's lungs and airway. As astrologers, we honestly don't know 100%. I see Nisus here, by the way. uh, we don't know when life begins, and I think that becomes the challenge for determining the time, because your birth certificate time. I have a time on my birth certificate. Ruth Brumman rectified my chart. She changed my time by 12 minutes. 12 minutes. So if the meridian represents the soul and the moment, then I guess it would be safe to say that the meridian is the moment the soul decides to stay, if it's a live birth. All right, Annie, how are you?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, great. Can you hear my background?
Not too bad. It's not too bad.
Okay. There's TV outside going and yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So
How do I
listen.
mute it?
So
Oh,
listen.
yes, yes.
Did you do
Yep.
your sister's chart? Did you pop up your sister's chart, and did you start with the rule book, which is Cancer? There are four midpoint
Yeah,
structures
I
for
wrote,
Cancer, and every one of them is Saturn, Neptune, and Hades.
yes, I did. I went through the rule book, but I just wasn't sure, especially after we chatted on message. I thought, oh, when you said just to stay with your own chart at the moment, because I'm still learning, and to leave it with like a time like this so we can look at it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I don't know what I know what I was looking at. Um, but yeah, from there, I mean, yeah, I'm still getting my
Does
head
she
around
have
my own.
does she have a feminine type Cancer, breast or uterine or
She's got multiple. She had multiple myeloma,
multiple
which is a
myeloma?
blood
It's
cancer, bone marrow.
wow. Is it considered hereditary?
Well, we do have cancer in the family, but as far as I know, never that, because we're genealogists into genealogy as well. So I don't recall. Yeah, there was a lot of other cancers with ancestors and that, but
So
yeah, not
women.
that one.
So women, the
Yes,
feminine side.
women.
Yeah, the feminine
Yeah,
side. Okay.
but it's more breast and
Yeah.
uterus, ovarian. Yeah,
Okay. So here's her marker for Cancer. It's a standout in her
oh,
chart.
okay.
Yeah, you see,
Yep, yep,
If you go to Saturn, Neptune, it's there.
yeah,
If you go to Neptune, Hades,
yeah,
okay, this is obviously we know she has Cancer. I'm not telling you something you don't know. You want to know
yeah,
whether she's going to survive the Cancer.
yeah. She said stem cell transplant in October last year. So far, it's all good. So I
Okay.
just want to make sure.
Ultimately, I think Cancer will be the thing that kills her, but it's not going to be the thing that kills her now. Do you understand that? What that means?
Yep, yep,
That
yep,
one
yep.
day, we are all going to die of something.
Yes. Yeah, no
Okay?
doubt.
Me, I'm putting in for let me get hit by a bus, a bullet, or a heart attack. I want to be like make it fast. All right. But we all,
Yeah,
or die in our sleep. That's really the goal, isn't it? To just
yes.
go to sleep one night, not wake up, just
Perfect.
not, yeah, no muss, no
Perfect.
fuss.
Yeah,
But I don't believe that your sister is going to die now. I believe that the stem cell
yes.
transplant it's going to work, but it's going to work for a time. Something else is going
Yeah,
to pop up.
okay.
That
Yep,
and it's going to be Cancer, another Cancer.
okay. Yep,
That's the problem with your sister's chart. Your sister simply has a chart not just for cancer, but whatever it is that's going to do her in, it's going to be something
Yeah.
inherited from the mother.
Yeah. Right. Yes. Yeah.
So if you
Okay.
have breast cancer or uterine cancer, or that would be the thing, and I don't see it as something that's imminent.
No. No.
Okay,
But
but
we're
it
quite positive. It's been a struggle for the past year, but we're quite positive with this. And she's done a lot of research and with groups who have survived, after the stem cell transplant. So a good 10, 20 years, hopefully. But I just wanted to
well,
find out how
let me say this though, and this is
yeah,
very important towards getting well.
yeah,
An important part of getting well is not immersing yourself in being sick.
yeah, yeah,
And I've seen a lot of people die of this because their whole life
yeah,
becomes about the cancer. Not because they can't
yes,
survive
yes,
it, but because all day long everything is all about cancer. If that's what you're doing, it's going to kill you.
yeah, yeah,
It will kill you. The best thing she can and this was one of the questions in the very beginning.
yeah,
This would be where she would benefit greatly from a profound spiritual discipline, one that entails holistic medicine,
yeah,
moving away from things that are traditional,
yeah,
moving into cause and effect, because that's the essence
yeah,
of spiritual, the spiritual work gives us
yeah.
the cause and effect of something. Once we understand the deeper, do you have Louise L. Hayes Heal Your Body?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Okay, is she doing the
Haven't read
affirmations?
it lately though.
Okay, no.
No, I haven't.
Is she doing the affirmations for cancer and blood cancers
Um,
and blood
I don't
diseases?
know. No, not as
See,
far as I know.
yeah, these are the things that you can do to help her.
Yeah, yeah,
And to remind her that
yeah.
people who spend their lives researching, researching cancer and cancer treatments needs to be somebody who doesn't have the cancer. Somebody who doesn't have cancer needs to do that for her. And somebody that she trusts to be able to come to her and say, listen, I've done this. She needs to be in the sun, in the water.
Yeah, yes.
Okay?
Yeah, she's a water baby. Yeah,
She needs to be in the spaces and places where she is going to find healing, natural
that is what
healing.
she's doing.
Great, great.
Yeah, she has been doing that. She's very much attuned now, and very. It's just reprioritized everything, and they're in the middle of selling their business and everything as well, and sorting out priorities and family and but herself for her own healing. But it's basically touching back with when we were kids on the farm. It was like we were both very much into spiritual things, which our parents didn't understand being farmers.
Hmm.
But we sort of,
Actually, nature,
you know,
I would think that a farm teaches you a lot about spirituality because
mm,
it rests in nature.
yeah, well,
Nothing
exactly.
teaches you more about life and the evolution of life and an ecosystem
Exactly.
than nature. Than
Exactly. But I think, they could take from a farmer's point of view back then, it was just all the practicalities and what's all this nonsense,
well,
that we
as
used to
it
talk about. But yeah.
as it turns out, it's probably going to
Mm,
prove to be extremely helpful to everyone now. By the way, take
yes.
a look over
Yeah.
here. Okay, so
Yeah.
this is luck in the body. When the sun comes over here, where is Jupiter transiting? And
Oh dear. My Mercury.
Jupiter's going to be moving over here. So listen,
Yeah.
she'll be getting her weight back, which I guess there's some
Right.
concern. Yeah,
Yeah.
she should when you see Jupiter crossing over here, she's going to be regaining her strength, regaining her weight. Okay?
Yes. Yeah.
She's going to hear. She's probably even experiencing to some degree a little bit of it now.
She sent a photo through. She sent a photo through the other day, and she was looking absolutely amazing. So it's the first time in a while where she just started looking
Well, here's the
a bit
change.
more like herself, but different.
Look at this.
And
Here's your change.
yeah,
If you're trying to figure out
yeah,
what it is, this is
mm-hmm.
Kronos Poseidon is divinity in a chart. It's where we find
Right.
God. It's the
Okay.
God. Yeah, it's the God half son. This is how we perceive
Okay.
it. This is where we
Gosh.
look. This is our religious inclinations, our spiritual
Right.
inclinations.
Yeah.
So she has the meridian there. So by nature, either
Yeah.
she's either
Yeah.
totally into it or she abdicates and runs from it.
She had a long break from it, I think, but never left her
Yeah. So well, Saturn would be
because now it's come out full.
well, and older as she's older, and things,
Yeah.
problems, responsibilities, probably begins to understand, hey, I have
Yeah.
a responsibility to my spiritual self to develop this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a yeah.
Mm-hmm.
These are strong markers, as it were.
And her creativity, she's getting back into her art as well. Yeah, and all
Well,
that sort of thing. Yeah.
that's going to be way more over here. Her love nature. It seems to
Okay.
me, that she goes back and forth with things. This is the chart of a person who does something and then leaves it, and then does it and leaves it, and does it and leaves it. And a lot of it has to do with, her
Okay.
mood or her sense of responsibility, her feelings, her whatever's going on. She's sensitive, empathic. So that's a different
Right.
story. That's a
Yep.
different story. She wants to get
Okay.
herself on track.
Okay.
If she wants to get herself on track,
Yep.
let's
Yep.
stay within the confines of what cancer has done to her, because treatment, the
Right.
experience, the fear,
Yep.
okay,
Yep.
the the
Yep.
the never knowing, because treatment is always a crapshoot. You don't even know how you're going to feel if you're getting the same treatment every week. Every week you can still feel
Mm,
differently about the treatment.
mm,
So you
yeah.
want to grab her,
Yeah.
grab these opportunities that you have to pull her away from being uh, buried by the cancer, get her out in the air, get her enjoying her life as much as possible, and have the people that are research
Yeah.
capable in your family do the cancer research for her
Yeah.
and say, hey, listen, we're doing the research, we got this. Don't absorb yourself in this, because if you do, and this is all there is, it's going to consume you.
Okay. I'll probably share this link with her and get her to listen to you, watch this video as
Pardon?
well, and have a chat to her. Um, I told her that I was last year when I first popped into your school, when I first joined up, and then we had to pull back. But I told her just recently that I was going to have a chat to her about this because she's very much into it as well, into astrology. And but we're getting away from all the Western side of it. So I was
It's
thinking I might just share this video and have a chat to her,
yeah.
with what you're saying as well.
This is not unfamiliar ground for me. I've lost my brother died of
Yes,
cancer,
yes,
my
I
sister
realise
died of
that.
cancer, my mother died of cancer. My mother was
Yeah,
30. I was 7 when my mother died. Okay, so
gosh.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
I've lost I don't know how many friends and family members through the years. I'm so sorry that
yeah,
you're going through this. I'm sorry your sister's going through this. But aside
yeah,
from our sympathy is I'm sure it's
yeah.
appreciated, but it's really not what you need from us right now. you you need
No,
us.
exactly.
Yeah. You need us. Yeah, it's like I
That's why I've got to
really,
learn this stuff. I've got to
yeah,
learn
I
it.
really understand your situation because look, I will share with you that 20 something years ago in 2000 in September 11th, 2001, that's when I realized that my brother was going to die. That's I literally
Right.
I was doing my brother's chart, looking at his chart about a job and a change of a job, which any one of you knows who's been a student of ours, you know Mars Saturn could be death, could be a job change or end of a job. So I was looking at some Mars Saturn stuff and I noticed something that was very alarming. And I didn't say anything to him. He'd already beaten cancer, testicular cancer, no less.
Right.
So it was a survivable type of cancer. We had every reason to believe that they'd gotten it. He'd been clear. He'd been given, the all clear.
Yep.
And he'd been cancer free for several years. And I'm looking at the stop thing and I see this, and there had been no indication in a couple of years of the cancer. So I see it, and I finish the reading with my brother, and I send an email to my cousin and to my friend, actually, the one who bought me the Aureus software as a gift. I was going to get it myself, and then she was like, "No, no, no, it's your birthday. I want to get this for you. I want to get you a gift." So the one who bought me the Aureus software, I sent her an email. She knew my brother.
Yeah.
We all, our families knew each other. I sent her an email, and I sent my cousins an email, and I I was just overwhelmed with grief because it hit me. I was looking at his chart and I was like, he is going to die. And I played with the chart and I knew when, as far as a year, and I didn't want to deal with it. It was like I don't want to look because in looking at it, this was
Mm.
2001, and I was like, he's not going to be here in 3 years. He's got 3 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, by the way, he died exactly to the day. That in sept in
That's
yeah between
unreal.
September between September of 2001 and right after my brother died, that's when I stopped believing astrologers. I asked Blake for who Aureus. We were exchanging readings back then. I was asking him, what am I supposed to do? What about this? I see these things. Oh, no, no. Let me tell you something. So much of what I saw in my chart and that I would look at just playing around with the rule book, these people missed it. I'd specifically ask
Right.
questions and they missed it. That's why I know this system and this method
Wow.
works. That's why I know it works.
Yeah.
So you want to stick to the system. Be careful what you're playing around with because it's very easy to get scared with this chart.
Yeah.
Okay, any or with this
Yeah.
astrology, not this chart, but this astrology is so easy. All you need
Yeah.
to do, first of all, every one of the half sums in that book, you, your sister, and every person on the planet has them. You have every one of those half
Right.
sums at
Yeah.
the top of the book. When I say half sums at the top of the book, let me be clear what we're talking about, guys. These, every one of us has every one of these half sums, the top half sums. See? So basically, the
Yeah.
400 pages of this book, we all share 400 and something half sums. Every single one of us. What separates us is what lands on the half sum in the formula. That's the rest of this. Okay? That's why somebody can have, say, Saturn, Neptune, but not Saturn, Neptune, Hades. Saturn, Neptune, Hades is Cancer. And is it going to be Cancer for you or Cancer for somebody else? Okay?
Right. That's
Don't,
something I've got to remember with the natals.
well,
Some are so dark and like, oh my gosh, it's like it's not me.
well, and,
And then
and,
I go back through your list and I'm, yeah.
and I don't want anyone to be. This is, believe me. Could you imagine? 40 years ago. 40 years ago, I get my hands. It's almost 40 years now. Yeah, it's about 40 years that the rule book was printed in English. Okay, before that we had Nigeman stuff, and we were using a lot of cosmobiology and things like that, and it didn't. None of it panned out. But I get this book 40 years ago, and I start looking through this book, and this was the realization. I was like, okay, you know what? I believe that I'm actually going to find some truth in astrology because there's so much tragedy in this book, and I've had plenty of tragedy in my life. This might be. I think I found it. I think I found the thing for me is this. Here's the best part of this. If you found your way to this astrology, you're on your way to either resolving karma or creating some bad karma. And if you're here, you're likely resolving your karma because we're really, really big on unfolding the astrology and repairing the problems and fixing things. That's what we're here doing.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So, well, I'm sure you can see we're really trying.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
takes a lot.
absolutely. Well, that's why yeah, yeah,
So,
and I'm trying very hard. But do you need me still on now, or
no,
need
I
someone
want to.
else on?
I was gonna let you go. I'm just gonna leave you with this thought
Yep.
as per your sister.
Yes.
She
Thank
has
you.
she has a very, very solid midpoint. If this is her time, a very solid divine midpoint in her
Yep.
chart that shows that if she engages in a serious discipline, this is going to be her salvation and her miracle and the change for her. Okay? But the change needs to be
Right.
that she does
Okay.
not let the cancer consume her with research and all of that nonsense. She got to get out in the air, get out in the sun, get out in the
Yep.
water, go breathe, forget about the
Yep.
cancer unless she has to go
That's what
to the
she's.
doctor.
Yep.
Tell her you have to act like you're not even sick.
Yep.
Unless you have to go to the doctor or somebody, you're not sick. You don't care. It doesn't exist.
Right.
And to do those Louise L. Hayes affirmations, and if you
Yep.
can do
Yep.
those with her, that would be awesome. Okay?
Okay. 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 Thank you so much.
All right.
That's
And
fantastic.
we're going to
Thank you.
I'm going to send you a link for a book, a prayer book that I would recommend you get.
Yes.
And you
Yep.
guys can also use that prayer book. All right?
Yes. That sounds great. Thank you, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Be
I'll stay on
well.
and listen to the read.
Be well, and really
You
prayers
too.
to your sister. Okay? Thank you. Bye
Thank you
bye.
very much.
You're welcome,
Okay.
honey. Bye bye.
Bye.
Nice. I see nice here.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah. I'm
It
great.
is. I'm
That's good
surprised.
as can be.
I thought
Yeah.
I thought you would have been asleep.
I was here when you were praying, when you guys were praying.
I
Oh,
didn't even notice because I have so many things up I can't see
right. Yeah.
half of
It's
what's going on.
no problem.
That's
Hi, Cynthia. Yeah.
so
Yeah. The show was great. Yeah. I was listening in and yeah.
well we missed you. We do miss you. But
Thank
we need to talk
right.
about I'm glad you're here because we need to talk
Mm-hmm.
about the fact that we're probably going to be moving the show dates and bouncing some things around. Um,
Okay.
and like I said, we're also going to, starting next week, it's going to be every show, every lecture is going to be on something to do with this work, either the solar arc
Mm-hmm.
or a quick lesson in synastry or a quick lecture on
Mm-hmm.
predictions or a quick, so that's how we're going to move forward. But you are with like, two jobs. Okay, so what is it? Is it 4 gigs with the astrology or is it 5 gigs with the astrology?
5.
It's 5 gigs.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
thought.
With captcha
That's
on
what I
top of
thought.
this.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I
Not that this is on top of that, but yeah, it's yeah. Well, you work and yeah. But yeah, it's been crazy lately. So yeah, I
Pe- people don't
apologize.
realize
Not,
it's
not
really true that you and I literally
well,
leave
this doesn't
messages.
pay. This doesn't pay.
No, it costs us money. This shit costs us money. We pay for this,
Yeah,
guys.
exactly. Yeah, it doesn't pay. It doesn't pay for itself.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
the establishment of this, and it's not that we don't have clients or can't find clients.
Hmm.
Clients exist. We're too busy.
Yeah.
We're
Right.
literally
Yeah.
we're literally too busy developing this, putting this together, fixing the things that need to be fixed. You know,
Right.
there's only so much time in a day. So one of the biggest problems we have right now that we have to overcome as far as the work is concerned is we need to tighten
Hmm.
up the rule book and the language.
Right.
And that is a daunting task because if we go back to the original German,
Hmm.
I'm seeing so many discrepancies from the original
Right.
German and then into from the rule book from Witte, the rule book that
Hmm.
was done in 57, the rule book that was translated into
Well, there's
English.
so many iterations and translations and all of that. Yeah.
Well, and I had an interesting conversation with David. When my
Okay.
sister was dying and died, I had to reach out to a lawyer because
Right.
there were all kinds of legal issues with my sister, and being in a nursing home and what have you. Um,
Hmm.
and David and I have been hit and miss for a while. We haven't had time to,
Hmm.
just like you and I, we haven't had time to really chat. So we were talking about the work, and I mentioned to him that it was very confusing to me, the Arabic parts, that I know that Vitae started, you know, because we can see it in the work, that this came from the Arabic parts. But this is where I'm having a problem. If you know Arabic parts, they all begin with the ascendant. Every Arabic
Hmm.
part involves the ascendant and something else minus something else.
Right.
Okay. So we're going back 2,000 years.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I think
Arabic,
back then they were just using the ascendant rather than the meridian, right? I think the meridian came after that for a while, right?
but the
If I'm
point
not
is like,
mistaken.
how do you, the ascendant
Yeah,
would be
exactly. Yeah, I know.
by time.
Yeah,
So where is what I want to know? And
I know.
he's fluent in Arabic. That's right. So it's like,
Yeah,
so where's all the documentation that they got that?
yeah.
No, every one of them begins, Blake. Every one of them begins with the ascendant, not a high proportion.
Hmm.
Every one of
Hmm.
them.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I wanted to know from David. It's like, so you're fluent in Arabic. Can you find out
Right.
how this, what happened? How do we go from what we had, and then of course to what Vite started, and then because
Hmm.
with that poor man couldn't get a word in edgewise with these astrologers.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right.
So everybody fought with him. That,
Hmm.
there was one man who disagreed with him and at least tried to work with him, and that was Friedrich Siegren.
Right.
They didn't always agree, but they at least tried to work together. And the thing about Siegren was an astrologer, but and I learned this from our donor, by the way, was that
Hmm.
he was into nautical math. And the nautical math and
Okay.
design is different than land surveyors. The two of them together, I find it interesting that they didn't agree. Apparently, so far, they didn't agree on much. They did find some concordance. I have found a couple of places in the paperwork where you see Seagrin supporting Vitae. And because of his support, other people came along to support him. I guess he was the big macha at the time. Not really sure. I wish I honestly I wish I could just read German and go through it, but it's very painstaking taking it apart. And then the pieces that I can't really understand, I have to send it to somebody, wait for them to send it. Then by the time they send it back, then I have to start all over again, go back to it's kind of a nightmare. So that's where we're at with that. Now, let me see. So before I forget, or let me take this off, by the way. We can go back to the. Before I forget, was there anything that we didn't cover that you guys left in the student questions? I know Tia did. She sent her stuff, but she wasn't wanting to do, or were you? On the purchase of your house, you already found out. She hopes she's disconnected. Yeah, you are disconnected from Discord. I'm looking at different things. Yeah, you would hear yourself. That's the thing. If you have if you have YouTube on and you're on Discord, you'll be able to hear yourself in the background, or you'll hear whatever your background noise is. We can hear it, and you would be able to hear it. You'd hear it as an echo too. That was something we had to kind of figure out and learn. It's another reason why we have to have headsets on during the show or classes. Anyway, getting back to nice. So, because you have all of these gigs and time is an issue, and the app, it's like the limited time that you have, you can spend it doing this, you can spend it working on the app, you can spend it sleeping, going out, getting drunk. There's time is time is a it is a valuable commodity. So
Mhm.
out of respect for your time and what it takes, uh, you know, first of all, we should be accommodating you and doing the show at the best time for you. And if or when you can't show up, so be it. But you're the one
Right.
we should be working around. I don't sleep right. You know this. You can tell. You of all people know that I do not sleep right.
Right.
I'm just as capable of being sound asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning or at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a crapshoot. I sleep when I'm able to. If I am tired, when I am tired, I have learned to go to sleep. That if I'm trying to sleep and I can't sleep, I just make myself more tired, more frustrated. So I get up. I get up, I get on the computer. What I don't do is watch TV. I'll get on the computer, I'll go read a book. I'll see if my friends on the other side of the world are awake. So I'm able to move the time around. A lot of the people that watch the show or do the classes, they'll come and do them after it after the live has run because it's not a convenient time for them. But we still have a 14-hour time difference, right? It's 6 p.m. here. What is it? 8 a.m. over there?
Yes.
Okay. And in Thailand, what time is it?
I guess it would be 6 in the morning.
Okay, so it's 12-hour difference between Thailand and a 14-hour difference. And then we have daylight savings time coming up. So we spring forward.
It's okay. It's okay. We can figure this out. Maybe we can talk and
Yeah.
see what we
But
can
it would be
do.
great. Yeah, it would be great if people who are listeners would let us know. Send us an email, leave a message like, where are you? Where in the world are you?
Right.
Yeah, let us
Yeah,
know.
that
Let
would be
Yeah, let us know where in the world you are, and we'll try to juggle it based on, you know, where people are that would like to be able to catch a live show. And we might even just start juggling the show. I don't see what harm it would be if people are subscribers, what harm there would be in just doing the show at different times every week, too. I get it. There's a schedule. People can schedule it, but we would let people know a week, possibly a week in advance or whatever, just change up or a day in advance, a day or two in advance. So we'll figure it out. But we're going to change the format of what we're going to do, and we might change the time.
yeah. We will let you know.
Yeah, we're still here. We're still trying. But if you haven't seen Nice on the server yet, he hasn't abandoned or on the server a lot. He hasn't abandoned us.
Yeah.
He's got with 2 jobs and 5 gigs, five, five side gigs.
Yeah.
So
It's okay. Yeah, we can figure something out. We can probably or maybe, and again, we will have videos videos coming up, right?
yeah, we're gonna.
Like a short clips explaining the basics, right? The solar arcs and the
Well,
predictions and this and that.
that's what I'm thinking of doing. I'm thinking we'll start running the short videos, the short lectures in front of each class while we still have a scheduled time. And then once we've run the basics of Uranian astrology, because this is what people really need to grasp. You can't just write about Uranian astrology the way you can write about Western astrology. You can't do this, one size fits all blog, and that when the sun moves into Pisces, this is what it
Yeah,
means in
just
Uranian astrology. It's not the way it's done. Every chart is different.
it has to be interactive.
Every
Yeah,
every axis point is different.
yeah,
Every chart is different. Every axis point is different. How the natives are demonstrating the energy in their chart and the vibrational energy, that's different. All of those things matter greatly. So there is no one size fits all, write a book, there it is, now it's the same for everyone. No. The only thing that's
yeah.
the same is finding the triple pattern for events and connections. That's
Yeah.
the thing that's the same. The thing that is always the
Exactly.
same is having the need to find the
The
repetitive
steps.
patterns.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. The steps are the same. Like we can teach the steps, right? The procedure, like how exactly would you have to proceed and all that. But again, that can be short clips. But
right.
still, like if you actually want to learn, you have to be present, right, on a live show and all that. So you can ask questions. So for example, if we pull your chart up, right,
And
you have
deconstruct
to be
your
able to
chart.
ask questions exactly. So for example, something happened, right? You have some small detail that you remember. You have to be able to find it on the chart, or like have to just find the representation, the representation of that. Sorry.
Or like with
Yeah,
Ginger.
and that exactly. Like it's just gonna be a small detail, but at the end of the day, it's gonna tie things up. really nicely, and it's just going to help you understand things better. Like, and of course we can just read, like, okay, this is, we can, after we find the triple pattern, after we found that, we have to deconstruct it even more. Like, for example, if you found a death, for example, like what does that death represent to you, right? It and as is what happened after the death? Are you gonna get the money, the insurance money? Do you gonna like get depressed from this? Or some people, for some people, death doesn't affect them as much. For certain people, like it's different, and all of these different experiences sort of, it's a great opportunity to learn, and you learn this astrology from that, not just steps and you know.
Yeah.
I'm
And
sorry.
there is, yeah, no, and we're working on the language. We understand that some, like somebody, well, what does that
It's
mean? What does this mean? What is, well,
yeah,
what is,
exactly. It's
what is it?
complex,
Yeah,
and you have to combine
what
all
is
of
it
that.
applying to? That's why I think the biggest thing that's happening here
Hmm.
is on a weekly basis, we're trying to teach all of you to look at charts in a different way.
Right,
Change the way you approach the chart, look at it in a different way, and look, we're working as fast and as much as we are able to, but this is a
right,
daunting task. We are two people, and we
right,
don't have help and support, guys, for real.
right.
So,
Yeah, for me, the best thing to do if you want to learn this is, again, to have that interaction, to have that sort of interactive sessions, right? And this is the best way to do it. Like, you come on a live show, right? You can for the basics, we have lots and lots of videos on that. You can go back and you can check it out. Like, we have, I think we ran 2 classes already, like
yeah.
full classes. You can get, like the basics, all the basics from that. And of course, we're gonna do more clips and short videos on that. But after you learn the basic, I suggest you come up on a show and talks to us. Like, pick up an event, or maybe pick up something from your life
Yeah,
that you
don't
know to
think,
be true. And
don't assume that you can. Somebody did that on Reddit. They're like, I went into your app
um,
and like I didn't get it. I didn't get it. It's like, oh, so you think in one shot you're gonna break down Uranian astrology. You're gonna go open up our app and in one shot you're gonna take a look at a chart. You've never seen it before. You don't know anything about it. Okay, and you're gonna learn this
yeah,
in one shot. Listen, even if you're studying with us, you want a professional to look at
right,
the chart. And by the way, when I say professional, there's only two people that I know of that have mastered this work. Ruth Brumman isn't doing, she's not doing readings anymore. She may not even be alive.
right,
Now, that being so, even Ruth didn't master the triple pattern. That's ours and ours alone.
right,
Okay? Vite didn't master it. No one did.
right.
So, you know,
Yeah.
you
And
can
for me,
go see
breaking
somebody else.
anything down.
Yeah, go see
Right.
somebody else,
Yeah.
but you should be acutely aware of the fact that anybody else is derivative. We're the originals.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm proud of that. I'm very
Right.
proud
Yeah.
of that because I sought
You
that
should
out
be.
for years like I was insane.
Hmm.
For years, I listened to all of the astrologers talk about it, speak about it. Nobody actually explained what it was or did a walkthrough.
Hmm.
They would make it's like they all kind of sort of understood, and some of them got it intuitively or pieces of it, but if they'd worked together the way they should have, they probably would have figured it out. Like, do you know what you're looking for? Do you understand what sacred geometry is? Sacred geometry is the repetition of patterns. That's what it is,
Right.
which means that patterns have to repeat themselves. Astrological patterns have to repeat themselves for there to be sacred geometry. You're always looking for the things that are going to repeat themselves. Whatever repeats themselves is what you can bank on.
Mm-hmm.
When you have something in a contact that's a crossover contact, what you're looking at is you're looking at friction or a contact. You know, you're looking at, say, the moon, a directed moon coming to the sun. So you're looking at a contact, and that's going to create, say, when the directed moon comes to the sun, that's going to create the friction or the contact to make partnerships a thing. Now, where's the sun moon half sum? Is that lining up in a triple pattern? The moon moves 12 degrees in a day. So repeatedly, if your moon is coming to your directed moon is coming to your sun, repeatedly that year, you're going to have a triple pattern of sun moon. It's going to line up. The sun moves a degree in a day. The moon moves 13 degrees in a day. So you can always make that happen. When you get those slower planets, getting them to line up in a triple pattern, those half sums, those events are unavoidable. As a matter of fact, I said last year, remember when Uranus and Zeus lined up at the Aries point, and I said this is the beginning of a world war,
Oh yeah.
and nothing
Yeah.
happened. Everybody was like, nothing happened. Really? Really? Because like Ukraine and Russia, the thing going on with China, nothing happened, right? It's, it happened. It's happening. It's happening right now. And it's a propaganda war, no less, with Uranus Poseidon to the Aries point. So much of what's being done or what we're hearing might not actually be being done. We have Neptune in a position where, you know, there's as a matter of fact, we should pop up. We should just take a look. Let's come over here and do this. Okay. Every time the sun comes here, there's some sort of deception, propaganda, some sort of deception out in the world. So every time the sun is at 5 degrees of a cardinal or 20 degrees of a fixed right now, we're being lied to and manipulated out in the world, and it's propaganda. Now, this is moving. This, by the way, is the war aspect, Uranus Zeus to the Aries point. So Uranus is finally moving, and it's going to move past this. In not too distant the future, everybody's going to have the awareness. Whatever is going on, this has been in play, and these are the slowest moving planets right here. Is this Hades Volcanus. And Hades Volcanus is slavery. And the goal, make no mistake about it, is to enslave the population. That's that's a very real factor that everyone needs to be aware of. So if you're doing your chart, just, you know, pop up a natal chart and you want to know where are you getting these things. This is slow moving. In the same way that in, you know, 2012 and 2008, when I started doing a blog talk radio show, in 2012 when I started showing video, and showing charts on video. I told people Uranian astrology is going to be a big thing in quite a few years. Let's get ahead of it. But also that slavery and World War and everything that had happened in Nazi Germany was going to revisit us, and that history would repeat itself. There are multiple videos. You watched them, didn't you? Nice.
Yeah, I've seen some. Yeah.
A lot of videos predicting exactly what happened, aren't there?
Yeah.
I had somebody say something on Reddit.
Yeah.
Where's their predictions? I've been predicting shit for a long time. Nobody listens to me. That's the problem. Nobody's listening to me. It's not like I'm not predicting it. It's just nobody's listening.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them.
There are a lot of them. And by the way, I've predicted a lot of things for a lot of people. It's been my personal experience. People do not listen to you. When you do astrology, people hear what they want to hear. They're hearing the same words you're speaking are being understood based on their comprehension level. This is the biggest reason for us to come and do a show and to have an interactive contact with people and talk to people. Because what I say may not be understood by the person in the way that I'm saying it. Language is situational. People perceive and understand things in their own way. Anyway, I'm not going to belabor the point. I think that things sort of speak for themselves. You know, we're out here. Yeah, even if you predict something, see, the problem with predictions is when you're trying to get to a point with someone, this astrology is so labor intensive that you're looking at something and you can see a problem in a chart and try to address it with the client. And the client wants you to focus on something else. And you're trying to say, well, wait a minute, what about this? They don't want to talk about that. It's like, well, I think there's an issue with this. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to hear about it. They want to hear about this other crap. It doesn't matter what you have that experience, don't you? Welcome to my world.
Yeah, they have collective listening when they talk to you.
No, I don't even. It's not even. I wish it was selective listening. I wish it was that easy. They, listen, and we all need to recognize this because we're astrologers. Yeah, we're astrologers. We're looking for answers too. And we recognize that we sometimes look for something and hope we see something in a chart and it's not the way. That's why you want to learn the method. Because sometimes what you're looking at is you're looking at your desire, but not the outcome. You're not reading the outcome. Because you can see both. Okay? Desire and disappointment, they're married to each other. All right? You should know that. So when you're looking,
for example, if you're reading someone and you see like, oh, you're gonna lose your job, but the person want to buy a house, you have to fight with them. Like I'm telling you right now, you should be focused on the job. Is there gonna be a move coming? No, yes, but it's not gonna be what you want.
Yeah,
you're gonna be a nice move.
Yeah, you're gonna.
It's not gonna be a big new house. It's gonna be a move.
You're gonna be moving into your car. You're gonna be moving into your car.
You have to fight with them, and like you don't, you sometimes have to be, the bearer of bad news, and sometimes people don't like that. Like and you don't even have like sometimes I have to, get down and talk to them like, are you sure, is this job secure, and then you find out it's a contract. It's a whole thing, and sometimes it takes a lot to help people when they are like that, because they only sometimes they only see what they want, but they, again, like what you said, like they don't see what's happening in front of them right now. They're fighting with their boss. It's a job is a contract. It's not even a full-time job. And they're planning things on top of that, on top of something that is so insecure. It's so unstable, but they don't see that. They see the money. They see the house that they want. And it is just it's just some random example. It's not exactly like this, but again, it's not that far away from this, you know, and
Right.
that is, reading, that is prediction, and imagine if you see something like a sudden accident, a sudden death, for example, that they have to deal with, and again, it's they don't want to hear it, they don't want to talk about it, and you have to walk them through, like, okay, you have to do this, you have to get in touch with the person, you have to talk to them, you have to make amends and all this. And yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a lot to deal with, and sometimes
I'll tell
just
you
we
a
just
story. You want me to tell you a
right.
story? Years ago, my
Hmm.
niece calls me up and she says to me, no, she texts me. She says, "I think I'm going to get fired." I was like,
Right.
Really?" And she had just, excuse me, she had just bought a car.
Hmm.
I was like, "Really?" She says, "Yeah, I'm so scared. I think I'm going to get fired." So I pop up the chart. I was like, "Shit, she is. She's looking at getting fired." Anyway, I look, I really look at her chart. I take it apart and I look at her chart and I said, "Listen, this is what you need to do. You need to get in front of this. You need to go talk to your boss and tell your boss that you know that you have certain shortcomings and that you feel undertrained and that you don't know who to talk to about this," because she'd been complaining to me that on the job, she's like, "I don't know how to do this." I was like, "Well, who is responsible for training you?" Okay? Like, get that son of a bitch to train you. Your job depends on it. So she she um and she just she's a pushover, by the way. Which is why when there are family problems, I hate when she's the one that people decide to talk to, because she's such a pushover. They get her to agree to everything, and then we got to go in there and clean up a mess that she agreed to
Hmm.
because she's a pushover.
Yeah.
Anyway, I tell her about this boss thing. Get in front of it. Get in front of this. Go talk to your boss. I talked to her about that for like 2 hours one night, and she's like, "I don't want to." I messaged her the next morning. I was like, "Girl, you want to save your ass? You better get in there and talk to your boss." She goes in there and she talks to him, and he tells her, "I was going to fire you." It was like, "But thank you for coming to me. I like you." She's a very pretty. She's a very, very pretty girl. So she's extremely good to have, easy on the eyes to have in the office, right? So, I was like, "Girl, this is where your looks are really going to come in handy. You're eye candy. He needs that. He runs estate planning." Okay. so get in there. And he made sure that she got the training that she needed. She actually went pretty far with this law firm and this group.
Hmm.
But this was one of those things where we used the astrology. She was very reticent to take my advice, by the way.
Right.
But she did, and it helped her in the end. Anyway, I think that's pretty much our show here for
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to go
It
hang
was
out.
great. I like the presentation. I like the slides.
Oh, great.
Everything.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, now
Very
I
nice.
finally know how to work this crap. it's,
Right.
isn't that lovely, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's great.
Oh well.
You have come a long way.
yes, I had all the things I had to teach myself. Somebody could have taught me something somewhere along the way, but it didn't work out that way. Anyway,
Right.
don't forget,
Yeah. Well, you
yeah,
got it. Yeah.
we're here. We're here now. That's all that matters. And you know what? I think that it's a really good thing that people see
Hmm.
exactly how we arrived here from
Right.
the very beginning to the end. That this is a process. Great things don't happen overnight. They're worked at. 14 years
Mhm.
ago, I wanted Uranian Astrology open software so like people could go and talk just like the astro.com stuff. I didn't understand how come Uranian astrologers hadn't done it.
Right.
This control factor. And the worst part of it, it's like they were running around trying to control something that most of them didn't even know what they were doing anyway. And that includes the organizations. And if you don't like me saying that, suck it. Okay? Whoever's listening that doesn't like it, suck it. Because we certainly proved it. All right? that's
Right.
that's on you. That's on you. It's embarrassing. Anyway, if you've liked our work and you like what we're doing here, keep coming back. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Very important.
Right. Right.
And if you have comments or questions, you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or leave them here on YouTube. This is who we are. We offer the free classes, the free app, and our brand is proof. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Bye.